Hello and welcome back to another Star Wars Legion video. Today we're going to be talking about the rest of the units in the Rebel faction. To start us off here, we're going to be talking about the core, then the special forces and the support, and then the heavies. To start us off in the core, we have the pikes. I'm going to be putting them in D tier. If you want to know what all their keywords are and anything else, you can look it up, or you can watch one of the previous tier lists. I believe I go over the keywords that the pikes have, since they are allowed in any of the factions. So yeah, you can look that up. They're D tier for rebels just because the rebels have better options overall for their core options. But yeah, we're gonna move on real fast here to Ewok skirmishers. They are a mercenary unit, just like the pikes are. They are affiliated with the other Ewoks in Star Wars Legion, so like Wicket and Logray, but you can only take Logray if you do the special Ewok Battle Force, or as we're going to see later, Ewok Slingers, who are in the Special Forces categories. They have low profile and unhindered. They are a melee unit. They come with 6 of them and a base unit. I gonna be wild here and put them up in B. I think they can be good. Of course, your synergy's not there. They're definitely good in the Ewok Battle Force. They're pretty solid. Overall, I probably wouldn't be playing Ewoks in the current meta of the game, just because they're a little bit less powerful in my opinion compared to the other Rebel Troopers that you can get, which we're going to go over here in a second. But they're solid B tier. Yeah, nothing much to say about that. Next up, we have Rebel Veterans. They have Coordinate and Placement Trooper, and they have low profile and prepared positions. They can issue an order to an emplacement trooper if they get an order. Low profile, they just get that extra automatic save if they roll for cover, and they have prepared positions since they're on the board and they get a dodge. They get the deploy in. I'm gonna say they're C tier overall for the rebels. I haven't had much luck playing them. They're more expensive than your normal rebel troopers, which I just think are better, which we'll get into in just a second. They have the same dice, different heavies and stuff, but like I said, a lot of the times when I'm playing with core, except for maybe in the rebels and the Sith or the separatists, I will take just naked units, and even a lot of times in the rebels, I just take naked units because they have just better options throughout the rest of their army. So they're just there for activation padding, and a lot of the rebel stuff can be pretty cheap. We'll get into some of the cheaper ones that I would definitely take over them. But they are 48 points, so that's why they're down in C. Next up is Fleet Troopers. I'm going to be putting these just above Ewoks. By themselves, they're 40 points. I'd rather take Rebel Troopers, which is the last core unit that we get here, and a lot better than the fleets. But if you build this up, they're a pretty good or a pretty decent threat at range 2. They're not like the greatest threat at range 2, and we'll get into some other threats at range 2 on this list. But yeah, they're definitely a solid choice, especially if you build them up. But yeah, if you're just taking them naked, I would just take regular Rebel Troopers, because regular Troopers are what we're talking about next. And honestly, these are A tier for their core, or for any core in the game, honestly. They're probably, I want to say, the best or second best core, in my opinion, in the game. And that is mostly just because they have Agile 1 and Nimble 1, which means after they make a move, they gain a dodge. And if they spend a dodge, they get it back with Nimble. So it's just pretty solid. They roll black dice to hit. They have white saves with white surges, which isn't great. So like they're a little bit squishier than some of the other core, like the Gar's core or the Empire's core. But they do hit harder than the Empire. They hit as hard as the Gar, but the Gar is more expensive. These guys are coming in at 40 points. You can take a bunch of them naked, and they're great. pretty solid option, so that is why they're A tier in my opinion. So like I said, I play with a lot of naked core right now, and it's really hard for me to justify putting more points into my core units. But yeah, excuse me. That is my opinion on the Rebel core units. We're going to just dive straight in since there are a lot of units to get through throughout the Rebel lists, and we don't want to spend too much time. I'm actually going to be moving these Wookiees up here and the Ewoks. I think I want to do those first. Starting with the Wookiees. They're 72 points and 69 points. The 72 points goes to the Wookiee Warriors Resistance, or Kashyyyk Resistance, which is this one. They have Indomitable, and they have Scale, and they have Sharpshooter 1. I think they're D tier. I'm not going to talk too much about it right now, but they are 72 points, and we'll get into some of different points throughout this. And then we have the Wookiee Warriors, which for Freedom Fighters, they're 69 points. They have Charge. They're a little bit better. I'm going to be putting them up in C tier, in my opinion. They have Charge, Duelist, Indomitable, and Scale. I like them a little bit more. That's just why they're in C over them. They're a little bit cheaper, a little bit better, in my opinion. Both with white saves, no white surges. They do surge to hit both of them. But yeah, that is just the Wookiees real fast there. They have 3 health each, which is why I think they justified the white saves. I kind of want them to be a little bit more tanky, especially in current metas where stuff can die, and I think really fast, but they're just not that great. So that is why they are there. Moving on to the Ewok Slingers. Again, this is another mercenary unit. I think this one's pretty rough, but I think they're going to go high C tier for me for this. And I have to be a little bit more stringent since the Rebels have so many special forces options. So that's why we're going with high C tier. They are only 35 points. They have 1 health. They have white saves with no surges. They do have Independent Surge 1, Low Profile, Targeting 1, and Unhindered. They can be useful. I think they're really good for the Ewok Battle Force, but again, we're just doing a general tier list. So I can't put too much into that. So yeah, that is it for them. That is all the kind of weaker, or I guess not the weakest, because next up we have Rebel Commandos. They are now only 48 points. They used to be a little bit more, I believe, with the recent point update. I'm going to be putting them in B. I think they're a pretty nice option if you just want more activations on the board, and they're pretty cheap, 48 points. I can definitely justify taking them. I have not ran with them, especially under the current points. They do have white saves with white surges. Just like most of the Rebels, they do surge the hit. They have black dice to hit, both in melee and at range 1 to 3. They have low profile, just like a lot of the Rebel troopers, or I guess Rebel forces, or Rebel units, not really Rebel troopers. But they have Scout 2 and Sharpshooter 1 on top of that. They're just a pretty solid option. Some of their heavies are pretty fun if you want to take a look at those. But we're going to get into the meat of the Rebel Special Forces now, which is really hard to choose between these. I'm actually going to move up this because this is regular Mando Resistance. The Mando Resistance, which is 62 points. They have Mando armor, of course, because they are the Mando Resistance. They move 3 because, Mandalorians are fast. I'm putting these guys up in A. And it's just because I really love them, honestly. Kind of biased. They have Jump 2 as an action. They have Impervious. They have Nimble. And they have a range melee, the 2 gun. That is 2 black. And they do surge the hit. They have 2 courage. They're just pretty solid. Units, 68 points. It's not bad. Taking them just base. You can put on a guy with a sword. He's pretty cool. They're just really fun to run. I love their mobility. I love how defensive they are. They are really hard to kill. Especially if you're running Leia with Exemplar and you get her within range of them. They just get dodges on top of their Mando armor. Is just really solid. But we're going to talk about Clan Ren next, which is the special version. And to me, they're my first S tier rebel unit of the thing. And that's just because I really love running Ahsoka Sabine, and I love taking Sabine and Ahsoka, and I love taking Clan Wind with Sabine because they have Retinue Sabine Ren, and that just means they get an aim or a dodge if they're within 2 and line of sight of Sabine, which is pretty solid. They have jump 2, they have equipped Tristan Ren and Ursa Ren, which Tristan Ren gives them a range 1 to 3 weapon that's 2 black, lethal 1, and suppressive. And Ursa gives them a range melee the 2 weapon, which has long shot. So if you spend an aim, you can get up to the range 3, and it rolls rainbow. It also gives the unit dauntless, which is pretty cool. But yeah, pretty solid. The rest of their keywords, they have impervious, just like the other one, and they have nimble, which means if they spend a dodge, they get it back, just like the other one. Again, they move 3. This unit has 2 health each, so Tristan, Ursa, and the base one has 2 health, so it's a little bit tankier. And it is only 36 points more, if my math is correct, which it might not be. But yeah, I believe it's only 36 points more, which you're looking at that as 36 point investment on top of the already 62, because it's 98 points, by the way, just to get the total out there. Then the Mando Resistance, but I think they're a pretty solid unit. I like taking them with Sabine, so that is why they are S tier in my opinion. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Moving on to everyone's favorite rebel unit right now, which is Sleeper Cell. They're going in S tier. There's not too much to say if you've been paying attention in the community at all. They did raise the points. They're now 77 points, and the Astromech Droid is 10, I believe. Or maybe it's 15. It's 10. They have Nimble, they have Scout 2, they have Tactical 1. They're just a really solid unit. Very hard, very annoying to kill. There's 6 of them. They're ranged, one of the biggest range 2 threats in the game right now. Even with the 7 points, I believe, is what they got raised. Even with that, I don't see them getting taken down too much. Now you can play with it a little bit more because like Rebel Commandos are a little bit cheaper, and you might want to take Mando Resistance over Sleeper Cell, but it's not too much of a change there. I still think they're a pretty solid unit. I would still run them. So yeah, they're going up in S tier. Moving on to the support category with the Laser Cannon team. I think they're fun with the new card, universal card upgrade that gives emplacement troopers something dug in. They could be really good. I have not ran them, so I'm going to keep them B tier for now. I think they were pretty B tier before. They're definitely B tier now. They have full pivot, prepared position, sentinel, and stationary, which means they can't move. They have a melee, just in case someone runs into melee with the gun. They have blaster pistols, which is a range 1 to 2 weapon, which is 4 white. And they have a range 1 to 5 weapon with fixed front and impact 2, and it's 5 black. They do surge the hit, and they have white saves with white surges, just like most of our rebel units in the game. So yeah, pretty solid. I think with the new dug-in card, they could be this unit could be great at securing one of your back points, especially if you're running something like, if I can remember the battle plans, bunker assaults, intercept the transmission signals. I must say transmission because that's the old one. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe recover the research, but I would highly rate it for like bunker assault or intercept the signals. But yeah, for securing a back point there, just all game. Moving on to Tauntauns here. I think Tauntauns are annoying. I hate playing against Tauntauns. They're going up in S. They have Agile 1, they have Relentless, they have Reposition, they have Sharpshooter 1, they have Unhindered. Talking about one of the most mobile units in the game, I think it's Tauntauns. And after they get the move, they also have Relentless, so they get to shoot or melee someone. And they don't get slowed down by difficult terrain, which makes sense because, they were on Hoth. Have Sharpshooter 1, so if they're attacking someone with cover 1, they just lose cover. If they have cover 2, they go down the cover 1. This unit is pretty good. They are 95 points, but I hate playing against them. Like, if they just have one Tauntaun unit, by the way, each Tauntaun has 4 health. It can get suppressed and panic because it has a courage value of 2, since they are creature troopers. It's just a really annoying unit to play against, which is why I'm putting an S, because I hate playing against it. And if I hate playing against it, especially with all of its keywords, you can focus fire them down. They're not unkillable. Most like everything in the rebel thing. Only a few units in the rebel unit list have red saves, and that is the Mandos, as you can probably see by all these cards. Some of your heroes have red saves as well, or commanders or operatives, but most of your basic units have white saves. So killing rebel units can be easy. Just rebels are really good at having a lot of them on the board, which means it's a lot of health to chew through. Moving on to the ATRT. I'm moving that up into an A pick. I think it's pretty good, pretty cheap. It is 54 points. It has Armor 2, Climbing Vehicle, Expert Climber, and Scout 1. It has a melee weapon, which is 3 red, which has Impact 1, and it has a Blaster Rifle, which is 2 white, 1 to 3, which is just the guy on the back shooting his gun. It surges the crit, and it has white saves with white surges, just like, again, most of our rebel units, besides a few like the Ewoks or the Wookiees. But, yeah, it's just pretty solid. It's pretty cheap. It's a good option. I would take them. I would even put their weapons on them, like the Rotary Blaster or the Laser Cannon. All of their weapons now are at 15 points, which is pretty nice whenever you're making it, because basically if you want to put a weapon on it, you always know that the ATRT is going to cost you 69 points in your army, and you don't really have to be like, well, if I put this weapon on it, it's going to be this many points. So it's a nice change. But yeah. Moving on from that, I don't really have much else to say about the ATRT. It's a pretty solid pick. Swoop bikes. I'm just going to put them down in C tier. I don't play a lot of swoop bikes in the Rebels. I think they're pretty solid of a unit overall. I just think the Rebels have better support options, even though the swoop bikes are 70 points. I mean, they are 70 points. The ATRT is cheaper. I'd much rather take an ATRT over them. And if I'm going heavy into support, I would take maybe 2 Tauntaun units. And that's 180 points, or 190 points. Sorry. There, so yeah, I just think there's better options, so that is why it's going there. I've gone over the swoop bikes keywords before, so I'm not going to talk too much about them. Their keywords haven't changed. They're the same. And we're going to move on to our final category here, which is the heavies. With our heavies, we have I'm going to have a hot take here, but it's my least favorite looking unit in the game. It's the Landspeeder. It's iconic. It's Luke's Landspeeder. I personally don't like that it has Rebel Troopers on it with like bazookas. It makes sense. I'm not going to complain too much. But it's a cool looking vehicle, so I understand why they wanted to use it in Legion. I like it. It's just, I don't know. I got some personal beef with it, I guess. I don't know why I put it up in A tier automatically. I think it's B. It has Armor 2. It has Arsenal 3. It's Cover 1, Speeder 1. With the new Speeder rules, I don't know exactly how this is going to go with Strike and Fade. I think it's honestly going to go whenever I'm playing Rebels on something else. I don't take this guy very much, not because I don't like the look. I just don't think it's as good as the other heavy options, which we're talking about the Airspeeder next, because I'm just going to transition straight into it. The Airspeeder's A tier, in my opinion. It has Armor 3, Arsenal 2, Cover 1, Immune Blast, Melee, and Range 1 weapons, and Speeder 2. I would put Strike and Fade on it. Already moving this guy on accident. He's going to go up in S tier. I like putting Wedge on this. I think he's really fun. He makes it very maneuverable. I just think it's a really fun unit. It comes in at 125 points, though. Our most expensive unit on this, but, you know, it's A tier in my opinion. Moving on to the Speeder Truck, which I already had to put on the tier list because I accidentally moved it already. It has armor 5, hover ground, reposition transport, weak point to rear, and it is my final S tier for the Rebels units in general. It has 8 health, it has white saves with white surges, it's long, it's tanky, it's annoying to play against as well. Like I said, I've played against a lot of Rebels. They're just super annoying sometimes. So yeah, let's go on S tier. If you agree with this list, or if you don't agree with it, leave a comment and a like, and you can subscribe if you want to. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm probably going to be making a updated tier list video next week about all the universal card upgrades and how I think they affected the tier list and the points. As you can see with the Rebel one, this I'm not going to update since I have the points for the Rebels already, so this one is not going to get touched. The Operatives might, and the Commanders might. I don't think there's any Commanders that got a point upgrade, though, for the Rebels. So, look forward to that. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!